Let me get out in the road before I start talking.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back with another episode of Two Powerlifters Getting Coffee. Today we have Steve, or Yolo, or... You know what? First question, I'm getting into that.
Right.
Because there's so much confusion, especially now. My girlfriend's so confused because before I joined IBW,
Yeah.
anytime I mentioned you in a story,
It was always YOLO.
it was always Steve.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But now I'm getting used to being around you and the guys.
Right.
And it's YOLO. So where did the name come from? When did it change? And what happened there?
Well, I think it stuck because Frank Williams, who's a powerlifter, he owns McNeilly Barbell. So I started training there first. But I put the name on my Facebook before I started training powerlifting because I was working at a coffee shop and this girl who worked there just said YOLO all the time. So I just went on her page and posted YOLO on probably 100 pictures just to troll her. And then I ended up putting it in my name on Facebook. So I was Steve YOLO Doyle. And I remember she was like, you'll take that down in a month. And I left it up for 5 years. So it was just a long running joke that I just kind of left up. And then when I started to go to Frank's over at McNeilly, Frank saw, he was like, what's this YOLO shit all about? He just so then he started calling me YOLO, and then that turned into Yurler. So if you go to a meet and Frank's there, he'll just call me Yurler, not even YOLO, it's Yurler. So yeah, Frank was the one who I guess made it stick for powerlifting. Yeah. And it stuck. It's not going anywhere now.
It's not going anywhere.
No. I tried to switch it a couple of times for Tom for Shea Height Steel, and he won't let me have that one. No, you can't pick your own nickname, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got nailed with mine the other day. So
yeah.
I got nailed with DaBaby just for being. That's
a good one.
I'm not even the youngest.
No,
thing.
No, but that's still a good one. That's actually a good one to have. I feel there's a lot of nicknames that come and they don't stick, but when Dryden first joined, we called him Cyborg Bronson because it was a guy who trained with us, Bronson Jacques, and they kind of looked alike. They had a similar build, glasses and shorter, and people thought they were brothers.
Really?
Yeah. People actually would go to meets and they'd be like, "Oh, you guys brothers?" But so we started calling Dryden Cyborg Bronson as a little nickname, and then that just everyone ends up getting one, but some of them don't stick. But yeah, YOLO definitely stuck.
It seems like the longer ones are the ones that aren't sticking.
Yeah.
The longer names.
Yeah. Then we got with the new Lucas that's picked up Dukas or Wukas.
Yeah. I'm more on Team Wukas, but Dryden's really trying to make.
He's really
trying to make Dukas stick.
He is. I'm like Wukas because of the Wario Mario.
Yeah.
And Lucas is Mario and Wukas is Wario. So yeah. that's what I want.
Yeah. When you deal with the confusion of the two of the same name in the room, it works perfect.
It does.
But how you been, man? How was lifting? Because you lifted a couple hours ago, right?
Yeah, we just did training. It was a big sesh. It was 4x4. My back is still a little jacked up from just getting back from Worlds. So I didn't really do all the fours. I'm just kind of easing back into some training. But man, Dryden had a big day. It was pretty sick to watch, motivating. But yeah, just I feel after a big meet, it's hard to I find get back into the swing of things, especially equipped, just because it's so draining to be in the equipment, and that you're lifting more than you can raw. So then afterwards it's just you have this big dump and you're of energy, and your body's trying to recover still from being in these tight suits and stuff, that it's actually your joints are hurting because you're again lifting more than you can raw. So it is pretty draining in that sense. So it takes me a lot longer for a turnaround. I know raw guys can go lift in a meet and then probably a week later be I'm ready to go again.
Well, I mean, look at Easterns.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at how quick everyone rebounded from Easterns.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel raw guys have that advantage where they can just get back into the swing of things kind of quicker if they want to. Some people just want to deload and then restart. But or do off seasons and stuff like that. But I find for me it's harder to get back to actual top weights just because I'm so drained or like beat up from like prep in equipment and stuff, because like I wear like really tight equipment. Like Tom always said when I first started lifting equip, Tom was just like, if you want to be good at it, like
you gotta be comfortable.
Yeah, you gotta be wearing like really tight stuff. He was like, the Ukrainians do that. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I started just like trying to get in like tighter and tighter equipment, and then just like, you know, tighter wraps. Everything became like, I tried to like fit into the smallest stuff possible, which does have carryover. Like I do get a lot out of it, but it is super, super draining.
So do you compete raw at all anymore?
No, I only did 2 raw meets, and they were my first 2 meets. I did Provincials 2016 raw, and I was 74 kilos. And then I did like a quick turnaround, and I did Halifax Easterns probably like a month and a half later.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like those are my first 2 meets, and they're my only raw meets. And then I had a kind of quick turnaround from that too, where like after that Easterns in like I think October or September, I ended up doing the first Gander Worlds. I don't know if you heard the legendary stories from
No.
Oh man, Gander Worlds was legendary meet, and I did that was my first equipped meet, and I did that. So yes.
Where are we going for coffee?
Oh man, where do you want to go? I'll go anywhere. What's not busy?
I was gonna say that McDonald's looks busy.
It does look busy.
What else do we have? I'm trying to think now towards the gym.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing really like near the gym. It's all up on Torbay Road.
Yeah. Starbucks is probably blocked there too. Actually, it doesn't look so bad, but Starbucks is like crazy expensive.
Yeah. I also noticed picking you up too.
Yeah.
And there's a very common thing, and I guess it speaks for the gym itself.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of people who go to reps that live near reps.
No.
Like I'm slowly starting to realize how many people drive across the city
to go
to go to reps.
Yeah, I think it is like that. Lucas and everyone lives like up by me.
Yeah.
And Dryden. So like we drive past. I mean, I think Club U is closer to us, but we still choose to go to reps. It just feels like home, I guess.
Yeah. That's like when Kev said he moved. He goes, it's just gonna have to get used to the drive because.
Yeah, because he's in Mount Pearl now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we're all driving like this distance just to go to reps, but like, you know,
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like when you get really used to like your home gym. Like it feels like you're in like your home turf.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something about it when you go to a different gym, it just doesn't feel the same.
Well, that and powerlifting in Newfoundland or in like St. John's, we have 2 options.
Yeah, pretty much.
You have reps or Club U.
That's it.
Anywhere else, you're eventually gonna have people yell at you,
getting mad at you for having chalk.
Yeah. Oh my God. When me and John that day we had the power outage. When me and John went to Good Life. Yeah. We like cracked the chalk open and we were like looking around. And we were like, are we even allowed to have this? And sure enough, we looked and one of the bumpers had like a chalk handprint on it. And I was like,
okay, we're good.
Somebody else did it.
Yeah. I'm kind of jealous. I would love to go to Good Life because I haven't been to one in a while, and just like kind of show up with all the boys and just like destroy.
Show up with all the equipped gear on.
Yeah, that would be wild. But just like show up with like Lucas and like everyone else in like the like IBW group, and just have like a massive sesh. And I feel like we'd probably mess shit up. it would get pretty ridiculous. Like the bars would be probably banned. It wouldn't be the same, I feel like.
Well, here's the thing. When we were there, we found an Alico bar.
Really?
It wasn't a power bar.
Okay.
But it was an Alico bar.
That's wild.
And we were amazed. I guess it's like an Olympic bar.
Oh.
Is what we're thinking it is.
Oh,
because it felt smaller in the hands.
Right.
And stuff.
Yeah, maybe it's thinner. Yeah, I think there was when they brought in those like kind of new platforms. I think they did bring in like when they had like bumpers brought in.
Yeah.
I think they did like do like it's more of like it is good for weightlifting, like Olympic weightlifting. But yeah. It would be fun to go. I was kind of jealous because I was away at that point.
Right.
Yeah, and
because that was just before. That was the day before I left.
Yeah.
To go to Edmonton. So yeah, you would have still been gone.
I was still in Iceland, and all of a sudden I'm like going through my stories, and everyone's like training in the dark.
Training in the dark, or in Trev's garage.
Or in Trev's garage, or you guys went to like Good Life, and yeah, I was like, what's going on here? Like, why is the power out in Newfoundland? Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of Iceland, I guess we could get into that if you want to give a little Worlds recap.
Yeah, we can do a
Quick
Worlds recap. That was my second Worlds. My first one was 2022 in Denmark. And I actually kind of didn't have a good day because I kind of blew my back out on the second squat in Denmark, and it affected my whole total, and I couldn't really bench or pull. I couldn't get another squat in, so I was kind of really down in the dumps, and I just flew all this way to Denmark for my first Worlds and kind of crap the bed. It was a really sad.
Yeah.
It was actually the first meet where I didn't total more than my last meet. I never that really freaked me out. And then I remember Ryan Stinn, the coach for Canada, was just kind of he was more you're a powerlifter now. That's kind of a...
It happens.
When you have your first meet where you don't total more than your last meet, he was or if you bomb, he was that's kind of you're a true powerlifter now, is what he said to me, kind of thing. I was oh, okay, that's made me feel took the sting off of having a crappy day. But then I had a while then to get back to this Worlds in Iceland. I wanted to go back mainly just because I was so annoyed with the first time I ever went to Worlds. I was I can't have this be my only showing at Worlds. So then I wanted to go back, and so then I found the prep for this Worlds was it started off really good, and I remember being really pumped about trying to go. My goal was to go and hit 800. And then, as the prep went on, I just felt expectations got, lowered and lowered and lowered. And I remember, talking with, Tom, and he was kind of if you do this number and this number and this number, you'll get, a 2.5 kilo PR. And it kind of, morphed into this, okay, you're not really gonna... I felt it was, almost just go have fun. Mm-hmm. And don't worry about, your total. Because it was, the expectations kind of came off. So it kind of... I guess motivated me a bit more when I got there. I was all right, screw it. I'm just gonna try and have that 800 day total. I didn't. The squat did not go my way.
Yeah, I was at work. I was getting a little worried watching the squats.
Yeah, that seems to be the issue now. Is depth. Well, I mean, it's an issue for everyone with equipped on depth. Usually,
you're fighting the suit.
Yeah, it's people will always say I don't know. It's not uncommon to bomb out at a powerlifting, at an equipped powerlifting meet. Raw, it seems to be it's more uncommon. You don't see it as much because it seems no one's gonna open with their max or they're gonna have depth is easier to hit and stuff like that. But with equip, yeah, exactly. Getting in a suit and then trying to fight down the weight you need to actually hit depth, and then actually the weight to stand up with it. It's a really fine window of okay, I need X amount of weight to hit depth, but I also can't go too heavy because then you won't be able to stand back up. Yeah, exactly. So it's this you have this really small window of what you can hit depth with and then what you can stand up with usually. But yeah, the depth got the third squat, thank God. After the first one, I went into the rack. I don't know if you guys saw that on the live stream.
I don't think I caught that.
No. I think because I think they only started showing from my seconds. The stream did, or clicked in at that point. But anyway, the first squat I ended up going into the rack, and because I was wearing a tighter, I wore 40 all training, and then I got into a 38, which was tighter. So I kind of wasn't really used to it, but it did have a lot of pop. But it when I went down and hit the hole, it kind of launched me forward. And then the second one, I was let's just repeat because there's no point in going up. And then I got 2 reds, 1 white on the second. And then I was in the back room then, and I'm just man, I drove all this way. I flew all this way, and I'm gonna bomb out in Iceland after spending all this money for flights
just to get here.
Yeah, just to get here and bomb. I was this can't go like this. So then I'm sitting there, and I'm just in my head thinking okay, you gotta clutch up here now. And I actually started to think what would Tom do? I always think that what WWTKD, what would Tom do? And I'm Tom would hit this. Mm-hmm. He would actually he wouldn't miss. So I was all right, this gotta go. So then as I was going out, I felt Shane and Ryan were kind of you know, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're just gonna have to go deeper. And yeah, like ended up like getting 2 whites, just all you need to like actually not bomb. And I was terrified then, like when I got to the back,
that they'd overturn
it, and I'm like, please don't overturn it. And then like Ryan and everyone's like waiting in anticipation, and Shane, like Team Canada coaches, and they're just like kind of like frozen, waiting, and then like 2 or 3 minutes go by, and they're like, okay, I guess you're good. Like,
yeah, because that's the way it is with powerlifting, is they don't ever tell you if it's good.
Yeah.
You just don't hear anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just sitting there like waiting. I thought they were gonna be like, jury is overruled, last lift, and I was gonna be like, oh crap. But we're sitting there waiting for it to happen, waiting, and then like, you know, we're like, oh well, let's go warm up for bench. Like it was that. It was pretty funny.
I noticed too when they were, or maybe it was just like I misunderstood the wording, or maybe it's because it was at Worlds, or maybe it's because it's equipped. I don't know. But they said if you like bomb out on squats, you can still keep competing.
Yeah,
you just can't.
At international meets, they actually will let you like continue because you can get individual medals for like squat, bench, and deadlift. You just can't get a total medal. Mm-hmm. Now, I was in no running for either. So like, I guess like just to continue would be like, you flew all this way, like do you want to have a couple more lifts? Like if I did bomb. So yeah, you can like continue in that way, but like some people don't. It just depends on the people. Like we had 2, I think, from Canada bomb. Luke Homer and Brian Kravs. And yes, I think both those guys like bombed on bench. So then they just did like, I think Luke did 2 deadlifts, and I think Brian just did 1, and he was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Just to kind of like, I don't want to like mess myself up. So
yeah, at that point
he just stopped. But yeah, after squats, like just getting by, I went back and watched the announcer, and the announcer was like, he got by with like the skin of his teeth. I was like, yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, no, it was, I remember watching, and I was just there, just, oh, please be in.
I know.
And then I saw 2 whites, and my heart was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and that's when I like ran off. I just like get off the platform so they can't like overturn it. Get the next guy out. So I just like ran off, and then yeah, bench went actually really good though. I was like, that was probably the lift that I think went the best in prep too. I found like the most like confident I felt. And then when I was in the warm-up room, I was warming up with 215, and I did like a 2 board and then a 1 board, and then like Ryan was like, all right, you're good, like you're opening with that, like 215, and I was like, no, I'm gonna open 210, because I just like was scared to bomb at that point. I was just like, yeah, let's go 210. And I remember him being like, oh, I think he wanted me to take 215 for my opener, and if I had like 1 change, I think I would have like opened 215. Yeah, I think I would have opened 215. I think that would have been better, but you know, hindsight's 2020, I guess.
And then you broke the bench.
Then the bench broke, yeah. on the second bench, one of the spotters was like picking up the bar and trying to like jam down the rack to get it into where I needed it for my rack height. And so they called me out, and then I did my second bench. And then when I went back, they had a little TV in the back room with the stream going, and I was watching it, and then like they just couldn't get the rack height changed again. I think like a piece of magnet broke off one of the metal pieces that like changes the rack height, and it just like got lodged in it, and they couldn't change it. So then the spotters and loaders were freaking out because it's all live, it's like going on, and so like they ended up having to go up through the bleachers, because it was like kind of like this like kind of bleacher theater kind of seating. They had to go up to where they had a rack in the front, and then like bring that down through everybody through the main theater, and then put it on the stage. Like it was pretty wild.
And that was on seconds.
That was on seconds, yeah. And like that's when everyone's like, you know, when you're in these shirts that are so tight too, like they're really tight around your arms, and you know, like tight around like,
and you're just stuck like,
yeah, you're stuck like a T-Rex. And so like the longer you're in the shirt, like the more like maybe something will go numb, or like, you know, I find if I'm in it for a long time, like I sweat in it, and then like the material is not as like when you sweat in it more, the polyester material ends up like you don't get as much pop out of it when you're in it for so long. So I was worried about that. I was like, oh, I don't want to be in my shirt for like 10, 15 minutes while they change out the rack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was worried, like, oh man, I hope I'm not like sweating too much in the shirt or like my arm goes numb. So like everyone's in the back like with their arms up on like chair ends, so their arms don't go numb. Which was yeah, it was pretty crazy that they broke the rack.
Yeah, I remember because I had the stream on in the background while I was at work.
Yeah.
So I was like just working away. And I seen your second bench. I was like, okay. And I look back at the stream like 10 minutes later and they're changing the rack. And my brain, I seen them wheeling the rack out. And my brain was like, did I miss every other
bench attempt?
Like, are they moving on to deads now?
Yeah. It's funny too because Lucas also said that they were like, really like pumping up like Alico. They were like, oh, Alico has the best equipment like in the world, and like, you know.
And then they broke it.
And then the rack broke, like as they were saying it. Yeah, the karma there was pretty funny. Yeah, the rack messed up. But yeah, then I actually got my third bench after, which I was like pumped about because I got like a 220, which was actually a 12.5 kilo comp PR, which was sick.
Nice.
And then I actually, when we were warming up for pulls, I have two suits. Now, I have a 36, which is like the tightest suit I have. And at Nationals in BC, it took 5 guys to get me into it.
Holy shit. Just to like try and pull the...
Just to get the straps up, and like, it took Garrett Bentley, Jimmy Willard, Brian Kravs, Mehar Bogle, and Graham Gurich. 5 guys to get me into this suit in BC. And then finally when they got like the straps just up over my shoulders, I was like, okay, pull it down. Because like once it's up so much, like I can't breathe.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, get him down. And then Garrett Benton, he like looks at me, he's like, we just got him up. He's like, I'm done with you. And he like walked away. So I was just like, oh, okay. So I remember telling Shane, and Shane was like, yeah, I was worried about this moment
happening.
Yeah, he's like, I've heard stories of like you getting like with this friggin' deadlift suit. And I'm like, well, we can try it. And I was like, okay, cool. But they ended up getting me into it. It was Shane Martin and Ryan Stin, and they got me into it in probably like record time. Like probably like 2 minutes. Yeah. They'd like, now the first one for my first warm up, it was like just on the tips of my shoulders. Like I felt like it wasn't in the best position, but like as I do like warm up, the suit will like kind of seat itself and get into position. So like every time after that, the straps go up a little bit easier. But I was actually pumped I put that on because in all of prep, I was wearing like a bigger suit. So I felt like I wasn't getting like a lot out of it. Mm-hmm. And I think for like my expectations for deadlift, I was like, oh man, if I pull like 265, like I'll be pumped about that. And oh yeah, right.
Happy time. What do you want?
I'll just take a medium black.
Medium black.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like,
I could take your order.
Hi, can I get a medium black coffee and a medium 2 milk, 2 sweetener?
Yeah, sure. Anything else?
No, that's everything.
That's 414.
Okay, now we're good.
now we're good. Yeah, so for deadlifts, I don't know. I didn't really have like a lot of expectations because I felt like prep was like subpar also with pulls. But when I got in the tighter suit, like everything was just flying. Like from first warm up to like, like opener, I felt like, oh man, I'm getting a lot out of this suit. Like way more than my bigger one, which is obvious. But yeah, I ended up pulling like a 2.5 kilo PR on the platform too, which was crazy because I didn't pull anything like that in prep at all. Like I think my heaviest in prep was like 257.5.
Really?
Yeah, and then like that actually pulled 275. I was like pretty pumped to get that.
I was trying to think back, but like while you were in prep, by the time you guys were getting to deadlifts, I was like usually out doing accessories.
Yeah.
So like I missed a lot of the
while
deadlift
we were pulling.
prep.
Yeah. Deadlift prep was it was okay. I had like a really bad tear actually on my hand. Like one of the calluses like popped off like early in prep. So I was like, I felt like I had like a good start, and then I had this like probably month where like I felt like just my hand, I couldn't really hold on to stuff. Positioning felt weird. And then probably like the last 2.5 weeks, I felt like my hand was healed up, and then I started to like feel like I was actually getting like good positioning with the suit. So I was like, again, I was optimistic of like if I pulled 265, I was pumped for that. So I ended up getting like 10 kilos more. So that was like a nice bonus.
So, was competing at Equipped Worlds the most nerve-wracking part of Iceland?
Definitely not. No. No, definitely proposing to my girlfriend was definitely the most nerve-wracking moment of my life. Where she's lucky I didn't bomb, because if I did, I don't think I would have proposed. I would have been too pissed off.
The ring out in the ocean.
Yeah, I would have been too pissed off. So she's lucky I didn't bomb. But yeah, I remember when I think it was 2 days after I competed, that I did it, because we were going on this like little outing to like the southern coast of Iceland, which has all these like waterfalls and like kind of this just like the black beach that they have there. So our first stop when we got on this like tour, I was like, I'm just gonna do it now and like get it over with, because I was like so nerve-wracked like the whole day or morning, that I was just like, all right, I just want to do it and like almost like get it over with, because I was just like, it was so like the build-up was coming, that I did that like the first stop. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, you know, I was like, let's go over here, and like we went kind of like on the side of the waterfall, and I like proposed there. But that was probably the most nerve-wracking part of Iceland.
Let's debit. Perfect.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Oh, they got the Christmas moons.
Oh, they do. They gave you a heat shield, but they didn't give me one.
Oh, you didn't get one?
What the fuck?
They tested how hot it was just by holding it. Like, he's fine.
So how does it feel competing in like a league of powerlifting so small? Because I know here I could probably name the amount of equipped lifters I know on like one hand.
Yeah. How does it feel?
Yeah, like how does like when it comes to like trying to compete?
Yeah. See, I feel like with powerlifting, because there aren't a lot of people like in it, that like, but to me, like, I love equipped powerlifting. Like, I wouldn't do any raw. Like, I don't really like care about competing raw ever again. I just really love this like part, like this little like hole of powerlifting that like I love the most. So I mean, like, I feel like it's a real small like close knit community. So like if you do equipped powerlifting like in Canada, like you kind of know who does it. Like, there's not a lot of us, so like it's such a small group that we all kind of know each other and like kind of are more supportive towards one another. So I like that. But yeah, I mean it gets shit on the most is the thing. Like, people like see people doing equipped and they're just like, even raw powerlifters are like, yeah, equipped is like stupid, and like that people like don't really give it its like its due. But yeah, like just it's annoying because I love it so much, and I like really wear that like I'm an equipped powerlifter like on my sleeve.
Yeah.
So for me, like when people shit on it, like it kind of pisses me off, because it like most of those people like have never been in equipment before.
No.
And so they don't know. Like if you've never like been in equipment before, then like just don't talk about it. Like don't shit on it until you try it is the thing, because it's a lot harder than you think it is. Like if you're worried about like winning, then like, and you want to be competitive, like if you want to say like, oh, I won a competitive class, then yeah, go raw, like do that, that's fine. But like, I don't know, people just shit on equipped because people could like go to nationals and there's maybe like one or two people in your weight class, and then like you can say you're like a national champion after like, you know, going to nationals equipped, which to me, like none of that stuff matters. It like, I don't care about like the fact that I can go to nationals and like, you know, get on a podium. Like that doesn't matter to me because like no one does it. I just care about like competing against like mainly myself.
Yeah.
And like that's always been my thing. Like and also where Newfoundland has such like a really good equipped, like we have Tom Keane and Jeff Butt and like, you know, Danny King and all these guys. If you go back and look at like our equipped records, like they're pretty juiced up.
I didn't know Jeff did equipped.
Yeah, Jeff did equipped like just at Masters Worlds just now. And he won.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so Jeff and Tom have like all these like because they had national records too. So like Tom and Jeff have like, they had national records for years in their weight class. So like our equipped records here, like provincial records, are pretty, like I said, they're pretty juiced up. So like that to me, like, that's what I feel like I compete against. Like, I'm trying to, like, go and get, like, a provincial record here. So, like, you know, people can crap on it because, like, I don't know, it's supporting, like, equipment and, like, no one does it. So, like, people could say they're national champions because, like, no one does it. Like, that stuff doesn't matter. I don't care about that at all. I just want to, like, do it because it's something I love to do. And it's so awesome that, like, IBW actually is, like, the guys training there know that I love it. Like, Lucas and Dryden and, like, Tom, and, like, we have days where, like, we'll just come in and it's, like, just for, like, my equip squat day, and the guys come, like, help me, like, they wrap my knees, or, you know, putting straps up and, like, spot and load, which you do need. If you're gonna do equip, like, you actually need a good team around you because you can't do it alone. So, like, yeah, it's a weird, like, entry barrier as well, because, like, you need a lot of money to, like, travel, but, like, more so just, like, get equipment. Like, unless someone's gonna, like, hand it down to you, which, like, I feel like we're kind of getting at that point now within Canada where, like, we have kind of, like, a good secondhand market for, like, equipment. Where, like, if someone wants to try to put on, like, a bench shirt, like, I can go to Frank's and get, like, an old bench shirt for, like, Will to try, you know? So, like, but then, like, once you get to that point where you're like, all right, I like this, I want to, like, go more into it, then you got to buy your own equipment, which is expensive. Like, buying a squat suit is, like, $400. Buying a deadlift suit is, like, $300. Like, it's not cheap to do, but, so the entry level, like, you know, it's kind of high, or, like, is high to, like, to get into it, but, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just what I love to do. I don't really try and stress about it too much, because, like, it does get a lot of flack for being, like, yeah, like, equipped is like, oh, it's dead, like, no one does it, it's stupid, and I'm just like, I don't know, I love it, I like to do it, it's how I like to compete, so, yeah, everyone else's opinion on it, like, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, people are always going to find stuff to argue about in powerlifting, like, what gives this of an advantage, and, like, but I mean, it's almost uncomparable.
Yeah.
There's also, I'm sure, plenty of people that get on with that shit that you could probably outlift raw still.
Yeah, and, like, and that's cool too. Like, I definitely still try and, like, push raw a bit, but, like, competing raw, like, I don't know, once I did my first equipped meet, like, I was just kind of like, this is what I love, because there feels like way more on the line, because, like, when I did raw, it's like, you know, bars loaded, and then you have, like, in the hole and on deck, like, or whatever, and I just felt like you're just standing there, like, you're like cattle, just kind of, like, moving, bar, okay, and then it's like your turn. But with equip, there's like, you have a lot more to, like, okay, someone's got to wrap your knees probably, like, 2 lifters out, so you got to time that, and if you don't time that right, then, like, you might not get to the point to, like, go out and actually take your attempt. So it feels like a lot more is on the line when you're actually doing equipped. Like, so I once I did that, I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I love to do. So then I just, like, went all in on equipped, and yeah, it's I wish more people would get into it, like, give it a shot, because I feel like they would respect it more. If someone actually, like, put on a squat suit and like, a set of wraps, and then they, like, did that for, like, a full training block, I think they'd be like, oh yeah, this is actually hard. Like, it's not easy to do this. So
yeah, the straps alone is enough. Like, I always thought that was crazy, because, like, you see people with, like, knee sleeves trying to walk, and they got, like, a slight bend in the knees, but, like, they're kind of hobbling.
Yeah.
But then I've also watched you come out wrapped, trying to just get to the rack, and you're fully, like, peg leg walking.
Yeah, because you're
trying to get
so,
there. It's
like,
wrapped that tight.
yeah, everything is so cranked on you. Like, your wraps are tight, your suit is, like, tight, and so, like, everything is a fight. Like, you're just trying to, like, not pass out, really, when you're trying to squat, because you know, there's so much pressure on your head with like, tight straps, that you're just trying to, like, fight down to hit depth. So it was like, yeah, like I said, it's just not easy. Like, if anyone who shits on equipped, just, like, I always say, just try it out, because I'm sure you'll be humbled pretty quick that it's not easy to do a lot.
So what got you started with powerlifting in general?
I actually met Brett Gibbs. Do you know who Brett Gibbs is?
No.
Okay, Brett Gibbs is the 83 GOAT of, like, all time in IPF powerlifting. I would say. He's from New Zealand, and he was actually living in Newfoundland for like maybe like a year. And he ended up coming to the coffee shop I worked at, and he was wearing a BioLane. You know who BioLane is? He used to have like a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
I delved into his videos before.
Yeah. So then he had like a BioLane like hoodie on, and I was just getting into like kind of fitness. Like I was going to the gym, but I wasn't really like powerlifting. I was just doing like bro workouts, and I was like, oh, I know who that is. And he was like, oh yeah, he's like my good friend. And I was like, bullshit. Like I just like didn't believe him. And then he kind of told, I asked him like, oh, like do you train or something like that? He's like a short guy but like jacked. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm like the world champion. I was like, of what? And he's like, powerlifting. I was like, I never even heard it before. That was the first time I like heard it. And I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, just like look me up on the computer. So I ended up like YouTubing Brett Gibbs and saw him like winning worlds, and I was like,
holy shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, what's this? And then I like kind of found powerlifting in that way, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then he kept coming back to the coffee shop I worked at, and I would just give him like free coffees. I was just like, just picking his brain, just being like, so what's this all about? And he was telling me like, oh, it's a sport, you know, like you do a squat, bench, deadlift, and he was telling me all about it. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty fun. So that gave me like more to go to the gym. Like that was more motivating for me to get to the gym then, because at the time, like I said, I was just doing like bodybuilding style workouts. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So then I started to like follow him on YouTube, and then I started to like go to the gym, and I was doing like squat, bench, deadlift, and then I ended up like writing on Facebook like, hey, are there any like powerlifting clubs in like Newfoundland? And then like my old friend was like, oh, I worked with a guy who runs a powerlifting club out of his like basement. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I ended up like calling Frank. That's Frank. Yeah, that's when I met Frank. And then Frank called me, and he's like, I heard you want to be a powerlifter. And I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, drop by tonight at like 6 o'clock. And he gave me the address. And I showed up with my gym bag. I thought I was like ready to go lift. And as soon as I walked through the door, he kind of took my gym bag, and he's just like, you won't be needing that tonight. And he like flicked it out in the hallway. And I was just like, okay. And he's like, sit there and watch some brutality. And at that point, there was like a bunch of guys actually, and in fact, they were doing equip lifting when I showed up.
Oh, okay.
McNeilly was like more of like an equip gym when I got there. So I was raw at that point, I guess. I didn't really even know what was equipped or what was raw at the time. But yeah, so then I started to train there. And I think the next day, Frank was like, all right, show up again, same time, we'll see what you're made of. And then he made me like max out on all 3 lifts and see where I was at. And then that week, crazy story, that week, Frank actually...
what is happening here?
No, I think you're fine. No. That was weird. Frank actually had a heart attack that first week that I started.
Shit.
Yeah. So Frank, he tells the story. He's like, you're lucky, Yolo. I saved you. And I was like, what do you mean? When he had his heart attack, he went to the hospital, and he kept his gym open, and he called one of the guys who was training, and he was just like, tell Yolo he can come to Monday nights, which was like a night or like, you know, like their main night where they lifted. So he's like, tell Yolo he made a team.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, cool. So then I started training at McNeilly because Frank had a heart attack, basically.
It's funny you say that about like not knowing the difference between raw and equipped, because up until this time last year,
Yeah.
I didn't know the difference.
No.
I was literally registering for Metro, and I had to text Chris, and I was all like, does raw mean I can't use wrist wraps? He was like,
Yeah.
He was like, no, equipped is like knee wraps, like squat suit. He was like, you're good, you're raw. And I was
Yeah,
like,
you're raw.
okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people think that too, and like they're like, oh, you're raw, but yet you can wear like sleeves and belts. And I think people, when they think raw, they think like, oh, you can't wear anything.
Yeah.
Like almost like you're out there butt naked on the platform.
It's that, or the other one I hear people think is raw versus equipped, and I don't really know where equipped like puts this correlation in their head. Maybe it's just raw.
Yeah.
I've also heard people think raw just assumes untested, and equipped is or raw is tested and
right, equipped is not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that probably why people think that is because of the like the double ply world, which I don't know anything really about. Like that's the guys who are squatting in like double ply suits, who usually do have like non-tested feds.
Yeah.
So then, like, that's where I think, like, Equip gets kind of, like, their bad name as well. Because, like, the double ply feds are, like, out there, like, passing squats that are, like, super high. Have you seen those videos? Like, guys who squat, like, really wide.
Yeah. Yeah.
They usually have, like, the Velcro straps over. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was, but I remember seeing it, and it was, like, an equipped lift, and I was like, I really don't think that's in. Like,
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
super high up.
Yeah, anyone who thinks Equipped is not getting called on depth for stuff, like, watch double ply, because then you'll be even more shocked.
Yeah.
But yeah, Equipped Equipped gets that bad name, I think, from double ply. I think so, anyway. But yeah,
Definitely, or definitely doesn't help it.
no, not even close.
So, coming up on a red light, which means I can, if this stays red long enough, I can get to the Instagram questions. I might have mentioned it in the Genge episode, but if you guys follow me on Instagram, anytime coming up on one of these episodes, I'll repost usually like a meat picture from the lifter, and then just ask for question suggestions to ask. So I got a bunch. Most of these are from the guys.
Sick. Okay, these are gonna get silly.
Actually, all of them are from people you know.
Okay.
There's not a single one.
That's good.
So Lucas's first question was, did he get visions of Mick from Rocky before his third squat?
I did. It was actually more like Tom as Mick. Like, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I haven't seen Rocky.
Oh, you haven't seen Rocky?
No.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have to, like, watch Rocky, because, like, it is, like, my number one motivation, probably. That's one of my rituals before every meet.
Is to watch Rocky?
I'll watch, like, all the Rockies, like, leading up, and then, like, usually the night before I compete, I'll always watch Rocky 4.
So that's why everybody's was reposting with like the Rocky theme and stuff.
Yeah.
Leading up to it. Okay.
Yeah, and because, like, I think I was, like, overusing the Rocky gif of when he climbs the mountain, and he's, like, putting his hands up in the air and he yells like Drago. You wouldn't know, you haven't seen the movie.
No.
but there's a big moment where, like, Rocky's doing this, like, training versus this Russian, and Rocky's, like, training, like, old school, like, he's, like, in the woods, kind of, like, carrying logs on his back, and, like, and versus, like, they, like, kind of show this, like, the Russian then doing, like, all this, like, high-tech training, you know, like, he has, like, scientists, like, pumping him full of steroids and everything like that. So Rocky's doing it, like, old school, and then next thing you know, he, like, runs up a mountain to this, like, big, like, Rocky training montage, and he runs up a mountain, and then he's at the top of the mountain, and he starts yelling Drago, the guy he's gonna fight. So, I kind of overuse that a lot, but yeah, to go back to the question, yeah, I was seeing Mick, but it was more so Tom as Mick, like, probably more like the famous line is like, "Get up, you bum, one more round," like something like that. But as Tom, which is not far off, because Tom would say probably something like that. Like, I remember when I was trying to qualify for my first time going to nationals. I think I missed again my opener, and then Tom was like, "If you miss," I remember him saying, he's just like, "If you miss this, you're screwed. Like, you're not gonna get the total. You're not gonna get the total you need to try and qualify." So that was, like, motivating enough for me to be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I gotta hit this now. Like, it's all or nothing." But so yeah, it's not far off to hear Tom probably say something like Mick.
Lucas also asked who you look up to most in powerlifting.
Definitely Tom. Tom is, like, the most. Well, when I first met Tom, they were calling him Captain Canada, because he was, like, the GOAT of, like, just CPU, in my opinion. So yeah, Tom's probably the most motivating, but also the guy I look up to the most, because he's done it all too. Like, he's done equipped. Tom has been to worlds equipped and, like, gone up against, like, you know, like Oleg, who's, like, probably the best powerlifter of all time. He has like over, like, 20 world championships.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's from Poland. He's like, he was also just competing when I was there. He's like an M2 now, but he still won. He won the 74 Opens still. Like, he's actually that goated. But Tom took him on. Yeah, so, like, to me, Tom is, like, the guy I look up to the most, because he's just so, and he's just, like, he still is getting stronger. Like, that guy doesn't stop. When we call him machine, like, I mean it. The guy's actually, like, he's built different. So that guy is the most guy I look up to the most, I'd say.
Adam asked, what advice would you give someone about consistency and longevity? And I'm assuming it's in the sport, or it might just be in general.
What advice? I'd say just keep showing up. Like, even when like you're not feeling like you want to go to the gym, or if you're feeling injured, that's the thing too. I feel like when people get like their first like kind of tweak, or they're starting to maybe feel a little banged up from training, just go and like maybe modify your numbers, or just like, you know, don't stop, because when you stop, it's really hard to get the ball like going again. So I've been training now probably like I think I'm close to like 10 years now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, maybe 9 actually. But yeah, I think out of those like 9 years, I can probably count on like one hand how many times I've like missed a session, and it's usually missed because like you know, like family, like Thanksgiving or something like that, and I couldn't make a session. But like most of the time, like I kind of pride myself on like always being there, like at a certain time. Like if I say I'm gonna be there, like I'm gonna be there. So yeah, I just try and like I just kept showing up whenever I would feel like if I had like an injury or a setback, or like if I was like not motivated to go train. It's just like it's still about just like going and doing the work. And I remember Frank said to me at the very beginning, I think like I had like a bad session, and Frank was like, any session's a good session. And I was just like, oh. So that was almost like, he said even a bad session is better than nothing. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I can see, you can try and take something from like even a really bad session.
Makes sense, yeah.
So like, even if you don't like feel like you're like still progressing, you're still like learning something. Like, oh, like that was not a good session, I didn't do great. That's something to like learn off of. So yeah, I'd say just like sticking with it. Having a good group around you as well is also like so key, because like everyone keeps each other accountable. Because like if you don't show up to spot them, then they're not going to show up to like help you, I feel like. So it kind of becomes this like support system where like I got guys now that like if I could text, I'm sure Dryden, Lucas, Tom, and probably like Will, and like, you know, everyone at IBW, I could probably write in the group right now and say, guys, I'm gonna go do equip squats, I need you guys to come help me. They'll probably be like, I'm there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is like so motivating when I'm like trying to train or like get sessions in, when you have guys who like are gonna like always have your back. And then on the flip side of that, you're like, to me, I'm always like, I'm gonna be there for them too. So like that, so you keep each other like motivated in that way. I feel like because you can push each other and be there for one another, like when you're training, then like you're always gonna be like making sure you're like dialed in, or like not missing sessions. So like,
and I think that's one thing people like understate, like, or they don't see a lot with powerlifters, and maybe other powerlifters aren't like it, but I know like you don't see it posted a lot. And maybe it's just because people don't go on the tag frenzy we go on when we like post on our stories and stuff.
Right.
But like lifting in a group is great for like the longevity and stuff, and like just the strength of it. Cause like all last week for me was PRs I wouldn't have hit if I was lifting alone, because I wouldn't have entertained it.
No.
But my last bench the other day, I didn't even know what was on the bar.
Yeah.
Because I threw music on it. I just looked at you guys and I was like,
yeah, and
I don't fucking know.
And then you get to that point too where you trust your training partners to the point where you're just like, you know, guys, how did that last set move? And if they're like, it moved good, and then you're just like, okay, should I go up? And sometimes they'll be like, no, maybe like just work on that today. Mm-hmm. Or if like you're like what happened with you were like, I don't care what you put on the bar, just load it for me. And we were confident enough because we saw your other sets that were like, Laney's on today. Yeah. Like he's gonna hit a PR right now. So then it was like, let's do it. So you get to that point where you trust the guys there too. Like when they say like go for it, you're like go. Okay, it's there, because you trust like your training partners. Yeah, it's something about, I find too, it's something about being in the trenches with one another. Where like did when you trained before out front, were you doing like, you probably had like a different day than like other people you were training with? Like say you had like, oh, I have like sets of 3s today, like 3x3 or something, but you're training with someone else out front and they're like, oh, I have like a set of 6 today.
The only thing that was consistent was our Saturdays.
Right.
And And that was only towards the end of like provincials prep.
Right.
Or before I started provincials prep, because I did provincials prep at Club U.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, even before that, even then my Saturdays were squat bench, so it still wasn't completely lined up with the guys, because Kev and John both did squat
They do squat deadlifts. Yeah.
So we'd squat together, but it'd be off. But like since that, I've switched, but up until then, until I started with Tom,
Mm-hmm.
Saturdays were the only day where there was consistency on us all training the same thing.
Yeah. And then so like, but do you find now where like you came in on Thursday, everyone had sets of 8?
Yeah.
And then so it almost feels like it's like, okay, this person hit their set of 8, I gotta hit mine.
Yeah.
So it becomes like pushing each other in that way. Like, okay.
Well, that was the thing. I had 6s on squats, and I went for the last set, and I looked at Tom and I said, I got 8. Do you want 8? And he said, yeah, I want 150 for 8. And I went, shit, okay.
Yeah. So but did you find that like motivating then? Because like
everybody else was hitting 8s, I wanted to hit 8s.
Exactly. And then you're just like, okay, everyone else hit their numbers today. It pushes you then to be like, okay, I'm gonna hit mine today too.
Yeah.
So like I call that like we're all in the trenches together. We're all doing the same number. I mean, like we all have different like weight that's on the bar, because you know what I mean. We all have like, we're not all doing the same weights, but we're doing the same reps and sets. So like it feels like you're in it together. And I love that type of training so much, because it keeps you more like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like not just like motivated, but it keeps you like accountable.
Yeah.
To be like, I need to hit these sets and reps because everyone else is doing it, and if I don't do it, then like, you
don't want to be the one guy
that didn't hit it. Yeah, exactly. So you're like, it's extra motivating in that way.
Not a question, but Maria told me to take a drink every time you do a Frank Williams impression.
Oh my god, I lost count already.
All right, so where else are we for questions? Dryden says, what exercise do you find has the biggest carryover to equipped bench?
To equip bench?
P.S. You're so handsome.
Aw, love that guy. I would say the best carryover for equipped bench for me was just doing equipped bench, because like I felt like doing like the boards and stuff like that. What I guess would say is an accessory, because you're not really like hitting your chest. You're not doing the full comp movement. You're just hitting like kind of like partial rep ranges. That, but also on top of that, I'd probably say like when I started to push heavy like dumbbells, when like doing like flat, like bench dumbbell press. When I started to push those, I felt like my equip bench started to like really go. Well, not just my equip bench, but like my raw bench started to go up a lot too, because I was hitting those a lot, and I feel like that had good carryover for me.
I think people don't put enough time into dumbbell press, and just think barbell press
is all you need. Yeah.
But when you think about the dynamics of it, yeah, your shoulders are still making the same travel, but lockout for one is here, as opposed to one is here. You're getting like the full.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's working, I feel like, because you're holding two different things. It's a lot of smaller muscles with like the balance of it, not just like a barbell that's locked in. Your two arms are locked into one. It's the full dumbbell itself, like the two dumbbells that you're doing that, which I feel like had a lot of carryover for me. So I love like flat bench dumbbell, like that's been like probably the best carryover. And Larson.
I've noticed that. I noticed like all of your bench almost.
Yeah.
Is Larson. Like whenever we're benching, your feet are always up.
Yeah, and I started that over a COVID lockdown because I didn't actually have enough weight. I was almost like, I got to the point where I was like, I think I had like 120 kilo or something like that in weight. So then like, I could put my feet down, but I started like trying like do a lot of variations. So I started to do like, kind of like more tempos and 3-stop benches and a lot of like those kind of things.
To try and make the weight more.
Yeah, so then I started to do like Larson for a lot of stuff. And then when we got back after COVID lockdown, that was also like, I felt like a big upgrade in my bench because I was doing all this like Larson press. And so like, I kind of warm up that way now, where like, I'll do Larson up to 120. And then after that, like I'll try and like put my feet down, I guess, because you got to. But there's been times where I'm just like, Larson almost feels better sometimes than actually like putting my feet actually on the floor and actually doing a regular like comp bench. But yeah, Larson has had good carryover too, which I like a lot.
I guess I'll just piggy off that question. Do you find any other accessories help the other two? Like help equip squats or deads, or are they just kind of too much in a league of their own too?
No, I mean, like for me, I needed a lot of like leg accessories. That was just me. I mean, like I know other people probably don't need it because they already like we're squatting and deadlifting like so much anyway. Mm-hmm. But for me, when I started to add like a lot of just like I had one day now that I go in, I call it like Destruction Tuesday or whatever. Yeah. And I just go in, like hit my legs hard. It's all high volume stuff. None of it's like super heavy. And it's just to get like a leg pump. And I that was when also I guess I feel like my squats started to get a lot better too. My raw squats, because I was like hitting legs. I felt like at the beginning when I first started to train, I could go in and squat every day and my legs would feel fine. I almost felt like I could hit 10 sets of 10 and I almost like feel like my legs it wasn't in my legs. It was almost like other parts of my body were sore, but not my legs.
That was a weird thing I noticed, was I used to always get the stereotypical, like 2 days after a leg day, can't walk.
DOMS kind of thing.
Until I started with Tom. And it's not because of the work, because there's times I'm like lying in bed and my legs are like, holy shit, this hurts. Yeah. I think my body has just adapted to the fact of you can't get sore, you're squatting in 2 days again.
Yeah, you gotta go again.
It's constantly basically, obviously it's not exact because 7-day weeks.
Right.
But basically we squat every 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah, so then like your body doesn't have time to be sore.
No,
you get used to
squat again.
Yeah. So I found doing leg accessories, I think I cut one of the squat days out and then I started to add just a leg day. Because I felt like I didn't need the extra like barbell day. I found I got a little bit more out of like doing like the belt squat was a big thing that I liked a lot, because that had good carryover too, because it was more like just a leg pump. Yeah. And so that helped me out a lot. Also, I found just doing leg accessories anyway helped me, because with equipment, if your legs are bigger, the suit's going to be tighter. So you're going to get more carryover out of the suit, right? So then I was just trying to do that. Like I was just trying to hit like an upper body day and a lower body day to have like, just actually
fill out the
suit. Yeah, because then like if the suit's tighter, I'm probably going to get more out of it. So that's why I wanted to do like leg accessories, and I do like an upper body day, and I have like a good healthy balance of like accessories versus like just like the comp movements.
All right, where are we? Will asks what glute exercises you recommend to build the Yolo shelf.
I can't give you all my secrets. Like that's the one thing I can't give, because like, I get compliments so much that like if I give away my secrets, everyone's just gonna like have just as nice a glutes as me, I guess. So
I
can't give away those secrets.
I got a question here that's when will Dryden be on the show?
I don't know.
And the last question here.
When's Dryden gonna be on the show?
The last question here is from Greg. It's have you ever considered teaching equipped?
No. Tom, like I've learned everything from Tom, so like if people come to me for like equipped,
you're just gonna pass them on.
I'm just gonna be like, man, that's the guy who knows. He's known more. He's probably forgotten more about equipped lifting than I'll ever know. So like, if anyone ever comes to me, like, yeah, I could probably give them like my 2 cents on stuff, but like, if anyone wants to like actually do it, then like message someone who's gonna teach you how to do it, because you need that anyway. You need to have someone show you how to use the equipment if you want to do it. If anyone out there who like wants to get started and equipped, like message Tom. Like I'm sure he would like love to help anyone out, try it out and stuff. But yeah, you need to have someone to show you how to do it. No one's just gonna like. I wouldn't suggest anyone just like buying a squat suit and then just like going trying to get it on and then like trying to train in it by yourself, like, or at a commercial gym by yourself, because you're gonna probably mess yourself up because you don't know how to like use the equipment properly or warm up properly, or like all these other things, little like tiny things that you learn from someone who's done it for years. So I don't think I'd ever like coach it, because like why would I coach it when Tom's just like the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just wouldn't recommend doing anything equipped alone or with a crew in a commercial gym.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just not a great idea.
No, it's not. You're probably gonna like A, get kicked out, B, probably mess yourself up.
See, like, I always get so confused with trying to describe reps because, like, I guess on paper reps is a commercial gym, but it really doesn't feel commercial.
No.
If that makes sense.
No.
Or maybe my brain's just mixing up commercial and corporate, and that's why I'm thinking, like, it absolutely doesn't feel like a corporate gym.
No, reps doesn't feel like that at all, which is good.
I would argue it doesn't really feel commercial either. Maybe that's just the atmosphere, the old steel equipment, and
Yeah.
also us being crammed in our own room makes it just really feel like a private gym.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to go down this way, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, reps has that feel, which I'm glad it doesn't have that, like, commercial thing. Actually, McNeilly's, like, just around here. We could just pop it. I want to see Frank's home. Okay, have you ever been inside McNeilly?
No, I never heard tell of it till
Oh my god, okay.
you told me about it like the other day.
Yeah. Okay, go down here for a second, and then go right. It'll only take a second.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if he's home.
I got like another 2 hours before Kev's off. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Go down by the park there. I'm just gonna see if he's there.
I think we actually got like a fair-sized crew in with us today.
Oh, do you? Who else is in?
I think Adam and Trev are both in as well.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, sick.
because I think Trev said because of work or something. Was Trev in this morning?
No.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
I think Trev's coming.
Oh, you guys gonna have a six?
And I think Adam said he might drop by because I told him, like, that's our usual.
Man, Adam's. I'm
Are
so
you
glad
for
Adam's
that?
back. He, Adam was actually, he trained at McNeilly for years too, so he'll have
Really?
he'll have a lot of like Frank stories too. But yeah, Frank or Adam is awesome, man. Training with him is so motivating because he's probably the most like when you're getting under a bar and you know when you hear like someone like say like let's freaking go or whatever, he has the best like hype guy you can have. Because he's like, the way he just like gets you hyped to go lift, it's probably like the best in the game, really. Let's see if Frank's there.
I gotta say, and especially if he's gonna end up watching this video in his next episode anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, I miss Chris.
Oh, yeah.
I miss Chris's like screaming at
Chris
me.
has a good one, too.
Chris has a really good yell
He
for
does.
when you're trying to get ready to lift.
He does. All right, go this way.
We're just doing a full circle.
We just did a full circle. That's why I realized, like, oh, man, we're close to Frank's. And then not in here, but take a left at the green fence there.
Feels like I'm doing my driving test again.
Does it? Yeah. Kind of like directing. All right, take a left here, and then at the end of this road, take a right, and we'll be driving past McNeilly now in a second.
I didn't even know this section of the city was here.
I know. I forgot it's Doyle Street, too.
Wow,
That's pretty funny.
you really fit in.
Yeah. All right. Pull up, like, right here. We can see Frank's home. Maybe we can go in and see McNeilly. Because it is a sight to see. So hold on now. One second.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull in more off the road. All right, I guess we're going on the road.
20 minutes later.
Little detour.
A little detour indeed, back to where it all started for Yolo.
Yeah.
We're not gonna take quite that long of a drive for me because Marystown Y is 3 hours away.
We can go back. Did you start there, like, was Chris training there?
Chris kind of introduced me to, like, the powerlifting movements and stuff, but I didn't know powerlifting as, like, a sport or anything at the time.
Right.
So, like, I kind of trained there back and forth because and I kind of knew Chris anyway because I graduated high school with Chris's fiance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, actually, our graduation, like when you did like the whole church walk-in thing.
Right.
I walked with Destiny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I kind of knew Chris anyway a little bit, but he kind of introduced me to like the powerlifting and stuff.
Yeah. There's always one that gets you into it. They're like the gateway person for it.
And then like I knew Peach too because Peach was from right there, so I was messaging Peach all kinds of questions, and he was all like,
Yeah. Peach is a beauty too, man.
he looked at me and was like, Chris is taking clients. And I was like, what? Clients for what? He was like, powerlifting coaching. I was like, oh, okay. And then
That's how it started.
that's how it all started.
So did you actually start out, or were you in reps at that point?
No, so I started with Chris in September of 22.
Yeah.
I joined reps in January of 23.
Okay, so you did have a couple months where you were still out in Bearstown?
Yeah. No, I was still living in here at the time, so I was
you
just
could-
training at Good Life.
At Good Life, nice.
And then made my way there, and then Chris abandoned me.
Oh, he abandoned you?
Well, that was when Chris left then to start training at
Oh my
Club
god, yes, you
U.
went to Club U, yeah. I remember that. Man, there was a really...
There was a big like wave of powerlifters, like
Yeah, the out front crew then was like still pretty, like there was Kearney was still training there, Chris, Mac, God, even Atwood was still training.
Yeah.
Out front. There was like all those guys were like out front crew. And now it's cool that you guys actually have like your new crew there.
yeah, we got the like new out front crew.
Yeah, it's pretty sick like to see it like still going.
Because for the longest time it was just me and John.
Yeah,
Down in the corner.
That's right. Man, it was almost like it was Lenny's corner. Like for a while before you joined IBW, you were still with Chris. It was like that corner was like it was all the other powerlifters kind of left and went to Club U or came into IBW, and you
It
were
was me. I was just a lone wolf.
you were holding it down.
Yeah. And then I caved.
Yeah.
But one of the other questions I got for you, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to it, but it's one I just ask like guests anyway. How do you find work affects training, or do you? And I have a feeling I know your answer.
I was worried it was going to affect my training because when I first graduated, I ended up working with this, it was called like Dramas, I think is the name of the company, and they do a lot of like setting up like a lot of Ethernet cables, and they do a lot of like for like almost like construction sites. So like when they're first getting on the like starting up, Dramas goes in and they kind of like wire the place and set it up for with cabling, right? Like structure and cabling. So I did that for a bit, like basically pulling cables through like conduits, and it was horrible for training because
Really?
my hands were so like rubbed raw from like you'd have to like grease the lines, like all these like Ethernet cables, and try and like put like like Cat 6 cables or whatever, like trying to pull them through so you could like get them set up like an office space.
Yeah.
And it was like horrible on training. Then when I switched to now I pretty much just like sit at a desk the whole time. I don't move. Like when you're at your job, you're probably like up running around a bit more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see mine is a bit more like I'm just stuck at my desk all day, which I thought I was worried about because I remember Tom telling me like, oh man, your hips are gonna get like locked up and stuff like that. But it ended up being the opposite. It ended up like actually being like I found having the rest instead of like pulling all these like conduits through or all these cables through conduits and stuff. I ended up like finding training was better because I was sitting all day getting like good nutrition in because I'd bring all my meals. So like I found it good. I don't know. Were you the same way with yours?
Yeah, I was really nervous. When I did my work term, it was a lot more because when I did my work term, I was at the health science.
Oh yeah.
So I was like the work comparison of where I am now versus the health science is crazy.
Yeah.
Like health science, you're talking like 12,000 steps
That's crazy.
on a slow day.
Oh my god.
Like, and that's not just walking around. That's half the time you're lugging. Sure, new computers are small and light, but the old computer that you're taking out of that office, was like it was just a lot. And I was working 2 jobs, so like that was kind of like a lot on me.
Yeah.
And I found when I worked at Walmart, it fucked my schedule because it was just inconsistent hours meant inconsistent like training times and stuff.
Yeah, and that was a big thing for me. That was my non-selling point. When I started working with government, I liked it better because I was a 9-to-5er now.
Yeah.
So I found I really liked having that set schedule. So I could like, okay, I could go to work and do 9 to 5 sitting down at the desk, no big deal. And then as long as I can get my training in after, like consistently, I know I'm off at 5 every Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I know I'm off at 5, so I know like come 5 o'clock, the guys are gonna come in too.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a good sesh. So I liked that consistency. I would hate if I had to work like different hours, like more like I don't know how Trev does it.
No.
Trev's schedule, like working those shift jobs, is crazy. Where like he just gets it in when he can, and you'll see days where I'm like, he'll be like at the gym at like 10 p.m.
Still getting
it in because he did like a day shift, and now he went home and slept for a bit, or a night shift or whatever, and then he'll come in at 10 p.m. and he's like hitting all the same numbers still. Like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That to me is so impressive. Like I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I think without having the training group there too, I would be like a lot more like, I think I'd end up having to I'd just end up being like, oh, I'm just gonna do a double here if it's supposed to be a triple. Like I think I'd be scared with like reps and stuff.
I think that's one thing I'm really glad about too is like I'm working a 9 to 5. I was like, I don't know how training is gonna go or whatever, but like I'm still showing up at the gym like the same time everyone else is. So like Monday and Tuesday might be hit or miss, but Wednesday is class day anyway.
Yep.
And I know Thursday I'm gonna be in squatting with you guys.
And it's awesome. Like, you know then that we're gonna be there at 5, we're all gonna squat together at 5.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? Like it's so consistent.
Having the whole crew. It is. It's really nice. Yeah, because I don't know, it's like different. And I mean, for me, work is weird sometimes because depending on what my on-call weeks are like.
True.
But I mean, like, my phone didn't go off once Wednesday during class.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, 'cause I did see a few times I've noticed you have to run out.
Yeah.
Like the pager would go off and you have to run out.
Or like Thursday, I was a little later coming in because I got a call the second I got in the parking lot, but that was it. So like, it all depends.
Yeah.
It's not as bad. Like when I asked Genj the same question, he said it was quite different for him.
Yeah, because he's doing a lot more like he's more like a laborer, right? Like, trades guy. Yeah, that's right. So obviously he's is a bit more demanding, I feel like, on your body.
Yeah, and it's. I said this to Tom the other day. It's kind of surprising to look at the room and see how many of us just work desk jobs.
Yeah, and like it's nice.
There's a lot of us that, I mean, look no further than how Dryden and Will walk in.
Yeah, exactly.
Dress shirts
on like you just came from the office, right? Yeah, Dryden had a big transition where he was working at Craig's Cookies, and he said like his days, like his hands would be sore from just like balling up cookies for like 8 hours. Yeah. So then like he said when he would then like get a session in after or before, like his hands were cramped up, so like, you know, holding a barbell was hard. So like for him, when he left there and started working his new job, like he was like, this is fantastic. Like he like loved it, which was sick to see. You should have him on the show sometime.
Anyway, I lost my train of thought. You threw me off. So, what are you like for hobbies outside of powerlifting? Because I know if anyone pays attention to anyone on Instagram, the powerlifting like range of hobbies is so wild. Because you got like Jesus Oliveras is like big into like Warhammer,
right? Or
like a bunch of the Calgary barbell crowd is like big into Magic.
They're big into Magic, yeah. Well, I gotta blame it on the guys because it's definitely Dryden and Lucas and Will who got me obsessed with this Pokemon Go and the Pokemon trading card game. Those have eaten up so much of like my spare time now that I think Rebecca is starting to get a little bit jealous of how much time I'm actually spending on these games. But I find when not training, I just like to chill. Like I'm not a big drinker or anything like that. Like I don't really care about like going out or doing any of that stuff. So like for me, like after training's over, it's like I like to hang out with the guys. Like we get together every couple of weeks and we'll just like hang out and we'll just play like board games, or we'll just like hang out and we'll just like watch you know, like say last week the British Open was on, the British Nationals. So we ended up watching like that at Tom's place. So like, and it's all just like chill, which is like that for me after like training. It's like, you know, you go and give your all at training. Yeah, after that I just want to like sit on the couch and relax. Yeah, I noticed that a lot of your stories are just you and like the dog watching hockey. Yeah, and for me, like that's that's the best thing to then like almost like turn your brain off, and so like not worry about powerlifting, or you know, almost just like you had a hard session that day, or like maybe your session didn't go great, or you know, and then it's all about like, all right, getting nutrition in, eating good, and then just like almost just like relaxing to the point where you can like decompress and then just relax and watch like a sport or play like a game to get your mind off of stuff, and like that's what I like to do.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, you've gotten big into the card games too.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna get. So I was a big player of Marvel Snap. I played a lot of Marvel Snap on my phone, and I wasn't gonna get TCG Pocket.
Yeah.
Because I was really big into Marvel Snap, and I just really enjoyed Snap.
Yeah.
So then one of my buddies was like, "You could just download it just for the free packs."
Yeah.
He
Which
goes,
was a lot at the beginning.
He goes, "You don't have to play. You could literally just get the free packs, and it gives you something extra. You get 2 free a day.
Yeah.
It lets us wonder pick if you get something nice.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've opened Marvel Snap since I got
It's addicting.
TCG Pocket.
Isn't it?
When we went to Edmonton,
Yeah.
anytime we came back in the hotel room, me and my buddy,
Yeah.
we were like, my girlfriend was like still doing schoolwork because she's like in a really heavy semester, so she'd stretch out on the couch in the hotel room watching or playing that, and he'd throw hockey on, and we were just playing TCG Pocket for hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just building decks, bouncing ideas off of each other.
I know, it's
like,
so fun. Dryden was over last night, actually. Dryden and Leah came over to our place last night. And, you know, when we hang out, it's pretty much just like, we'll talk about training for a little bit, talk about how, like, everything's going, how we're excited for, like, the block, or, like, what's next, or, like, goals and all this stuff. And then once, like, we get that out of the way, it's almost like, you want to play some
Pokemon?
Want to play some Pokemon? And then, like, we just, like, nerd out on that, which is sick. Yeah. I also really like chess.
Really?
Yeah, chess has actually like been this thing, and I actually only started picking it up when I worked with government, because I found where I'm on like the service desk that like I'm getting calls and emails that like when I'm waiting for like those to come in, say if it's not a busy day, I might have like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes in between a call, and if I get my emails done, then I'm just like laughing, right? I got all this like spare time in between the calls that I started to like pick up chess.
Really?
Yeah, and chess was like something at first I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of like playing and random stuff. And then I started to like be like, well, I'm here now. I might as well learn it.
Yeah.
Learn it. So then I started like looking up like YouTube videos and like learning like openings and like strategies and techniques. And that's a game that I found that like you can like go down the rabbit hole of just like learning on, you know, like all these different openings, different lines, and that's really fun. And so like I play a lot of that too, like, and I also play that like at work. Like I said, if I got like a couple of down minutes, I'll be like, it's so easy to play like a 30-minute game and just like make a move, and then like say a call comes in, or if I gotta like take a ticket, I'll answer it, work it, and then like by the time I'm done, it's probably like 5 minutes has gone by, and then I go back to the game, and then like if the guy made a move, I can make my move, and then go back. Yeah, so it's like it's pretty good for that, but chess is super fun.
So looking at time and battery and stuff, I'd say we'll probably start cluing it up. I mean, we're in the area anyway.
We are,
so, yeah. Dude, the light just turned.
Yeah, chill, dude.
Relax.
Or maybe it's beeping for the Canada Post guys.
Can't get over yet. So I guess I'll hit you with the speed round questions.
Yeah.
Go to PR song.
It's got to be something from Rocky. Probably like Rocky or from Rocky 4.
I'm not going to ask solo or group lifting because I know the answer to that.
It's group 100%.
But night or day lifting? Assuming you could have the group there for
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. See, I don't like morning lifting sessions.
Wednesday night versus Saturday morning. Basically.
Oh my god, not Saturday morning. No. My favorite sessions are like the Sunday at like 11 or 12, because I feel like I can get up, I can have my coffee, I can have my breakfast, and I wake up a bit. I don't know how Dryden does it, but like Dryden loves the 8 o'clock start for like training. I don't know, maybe I'm so old now, masters in 2 years, where like I don't know, I just can't, I feel like it's harder for my body to like get going.
Yeah.
So I prefer like a 12 o'clock, a middle of both.
Middle of the day.
Yeah. Night's good too. But just not mornings.
Morning or night person?
I definitely am still a morning person, where I like to get up early. I'll, you know, if Rebecca's not up yet, if I'm not, well, like, my weekends are so routine and scheduled that, like, Saturday I'm at training at 8. Sunday I'm at training at, like, usually 10 or 11 with, like, Tom and the boys again for, like, my equip session. So, like, my weekends are always, like, booked up.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I would say I'm a morning person.
Go to, like, cheat meal.
Go-to cheat meal? Man. Lucas got me really addicted to the burrito spot, like actually just right there.
Quesada?
Quesada, man,
Yeah?
that as Dryden would say, that slaps.
Never had.
It's so good. It's expensive though.
I'm a big, like, burritos on tops of rope kind of guy.
Yeah, I like that spot too though.
Yeah.
That's a good spot too.
They're my go-to for that. Now, after trying fucking Chipotle in Edmonton.
Yeah, we need to get one here
Holy shit,
so bad.
dude.
I would love one here.
Dude, like, the gym community would just keep the place going.
I think we would.
I genuinely think there's enough, like, between bodybuilders and powerlifters and stuff in
Yeah.
Newfoundland, I think there's enough people to keep a Chipotle going.
I would love for Chipotle to be in Newfoundland. That would be so good.
Go to, like, meat day snack. Or are you even a snacker on
No,
meat
I'm a
days?
snacker. I'm a snacker on meat day. I like my pretzels. Tom's got me addicted to the pretzels. I'd also say I really like. I'm the candy guy. You know, like when deadlifts come around, I like to chew on my my candies. You know.
Yeah, I hear you there. I'm a big candy guy.
Yeah.
I won't make the same mistake I made at Provincials, but I ate an entire, like, you know those really loud to open containers?
Yeah.
I ate an entire one of those at Gummy Bears.
Did you
From
really?
the start of Provincials to the end.
Oh
and
my
I
God,
wanted to
that's
throw up.
Oh, that's so much.
It
See,
was so much.
I only like to do it when I'm like coming around on deadlifts because I feel like when I weigh in, because I do cut a little bit, I like to have like mostly like the electrolytes, waters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'll drink mainly that with pretzels to try and like get my weight back up. And then after that, I find like I'm so bloated that I pretty much don't eat anything until like bench comes around. And then once bench, I'll like have a banana or two and then more pretzels. And then once deadlifts are coming, I'm like, give me the candies, like all the sugar, because I'm fine. I'm maybe starting to crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and just to clue up the podcast, anything you want to say to anyone listening with regards to powerlifting, the gym, equipped powerlifting?
I would say anyone who wants to do equipped lifting, to reach out to someone who's doing it and try and just like pick their brain, you know, how they started, like maybe if they want to try a suit, maybe like to come in and ask like maybe could they try it themselves, because like I said, the equipped community is so small and close knit that like people love to see other people get into it. It's not really like you know, like any hate.
This
like
one here, right?
Yeah, this one here. If someone wants to do it, then like we're pretty open to being like, oh, you know, like fresh meat, like please come join us. And so I say anyone who like wants to do it, just like reach out to me or like reach out to like someone who's done it, like Tom or Jeff or like, man, anyone like that, like, and I'm sure they'd love to like see people get into it more, because like I do think it will have a resurgence. I think like it will come around where like equip lifting will like grow a little bit more. It will get a little bit more popular, but it just needs to be like I said, people just should just like if they're interested at all, just try it, which I feel like is the best way to go.
Makes sense. Anyway, good
man.
having you on.
Yeah, thank you.
I guess I'll see you Monday, Tuesday.
I'll see you Monday for the next sesh.
All right, have a good one, man.
All right.